What's up guys, welcome back. And you obviously clicked this video after maybe probably watching my trip to Zanzibar, and now you're back here asking yourself so many questions. I didn't say all the expensivity that I did undergo when I was going to Zanzibar. Now without further ado, I'm gonna be telling you this video is actually divided into 5 categories. 1 2 3 4 5 6 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yeah, I'm gonna divide this video into 6 categories. First, I'm going to be telling you about the routine that we did. It was actually a 5-day trip, and the second, it's going to be about transport, then coming to accommodation, then the extras, the food, and the entrances, how much we paid for them. So in explaining short story, if you haven't seen my whole video, I did separation. I did create like separate videos for this travel Zanzibar. So if you're really interested, go and check that out. I did a full day by day showing exactly how we spent the whole day. Like, it was really a long video, so I showed everything. Then also there's a summary of the whole 5 videos I did. If you want to check that out too, check that out. If you don't have any time to check that day by day, to show you how I really the whole day how it went. And also, yeah, so the first, I'm gonna summarize just in short in this couple of 5 seconds, I think, or if not 10 20. So the first day we actually had arrived, and we didn't do much of the movement, rather than just going outside and just buying street food that's actually available right there. We didn't go to Forodhani. And the second day we had to roam around and understanding the whole place. Like, we didn't want to miss anything outside of our current environment, because when we arrived we had reached on a nearby place near the shore, so we didn't go far away as people used to book those villas far away, because most of the villas that you're looking for, those luxurious villas, they're really not in the nearby Forodhani place. If you have to move from the villa side to coming to Forodhani, it's gonna be really far away, so you're gonna have to understand that. So that's what we did. We just had to roam around and check, though we were disappointed because there was a rain coming down, so we didn't do much of the roaming rather than just going to the what's that called again, like the old fort. Yeah, the old fort. Apart from going there, yeah, so the rain kind of stopped us. Now the third day we did go for the swimming with turtles. That's when we tried to go far on the north of the Zanzibar part. So we went there on top. We went to Nungwi, I think so, Nungwi turtles. So we did swimming with turtles and then took pictures. It was kind of fun, though it was kind of expensive also if you're using Tanzanian money. That's why I think most of the Tanzanians and Africans really don't like to travel, because they kind of take it as it's inexpensive, because those charges are actually relatively to foreign payments. So though we do have a normal currency that we pay, and difference between the tourists from abroad, and it's still kind of heavy for ours who are actually normal locals to pay for that entrance. So the third day, that was the third day, we went to the turtles, and then when we come back we went to Shambaland, whereby we swam with the normal pools, and yeah, it was kind of expensive, but it's okay. And then on the fourth day we went outside, and when we went to Nakupenda sandbanks, and from there on we went to Prison Island. Like Prison Island, we took the turtles too. Like, there were just some historical stuff telling us, and of course we use an agent, because at the end point you have to pass through the boat, and the plan was not going to be using an agent, so we had to at the end. But we didn't use an agent by booking, because they are actually expensive if you book them online, and the Zanzibar trip for the whole Zanzibar was going to be expensive if you try to do that. So yeah, and then the fifth day, last day, we went to the shops, because we actually had that day in Zanzibar you will get like free stuffs, not free stuffs as in less expensive stuff compared to Tanzania mainline. So we did have to take our time to go and check for ourselves if it was true. So sadly enough, it was kind of like half, because if you get something too cheap, they weren't that good quality. They were actually, the only thing that I liked is that they were kind of sincere with us, that which kind of material, which kind of quality we were getting ourselves into. Yeah. So, and by the way, if you're wondering why 5 days, we actually were supposed to stay for 4 days, but we missed our boat on the 4th day, so we had to book and stay till the next day. That was on the 5th day. That was actually a whole summary of the whole trip. So if you're actually interested to go to Zanzibar, maybe you have any questions or stuff, you probably can ask me, then I'll recommend you what to do and maybe plan your next itinerary to Zanzibar. Yeah, that's how we actually did. And by the way, it was unplanned, if you didn't notice. We want like specific, like we want this and this, but we just wanted to have the best of our time in Zanzibar and at least have an overview of different places that we would visit apart from just going to Sandbanks. That's why even Sandbanks wasn't actually the priority in the first time. And yeah, that was it. If you're actually wanting more words to hear from me, make sure to check this video. In this video, we're just gonna deal with the budgets. So when you start with the transportation, now on the side of the transportation, we did spend like 60 Tanzanian shillings, which is equivalent to $22 only on the boat, and that is actually the boat of going from the Tanzania mainland to coming back. Now, as I've said on my other video, that I would really promote people who actually use boats rather than the airplanes. If you really have that kind of money, because it's kind of even thrice from Zanzibar to Tanzania by plane, I think it's almost like $200, if not 280, around those prices, depending on the time you're booking. But it's just very cheap if you just use $22 for a boat going, and not only going and going in, like it's going and coming back. Yeah, going and coming for $20, guys. $11, guys. Who doesn't want that? Like, it's very super cheap from just using a boat, and it's only 1 hour and a half. Now, as my recommendation, I did on that video, I told you what to use. Use the Zan ferries. Yeah, I shouldn't forget that. Use Zan ferries. That's my advice, because in Azam we kind of booking, but the thing is, when you book, like when you go inside, you'll find that you won't get a place to stay. There are so many people there, like even the organization itself, it's not that nice. But when you enter into Zan ferries, what we actually booked on the second time going back to Tanzania, they're kind of organized, as I've said on the previous video. You will have to you must get a seat to sit so as the boat would start moving, so they can't even pass to cross check if everyone is seated. But if there is an extra space, that's when someone is going to enter. But if the boat is full, they don't really take tickets more on that. But compared to Azam ferries, they do take a lot of people, and a lot of people get inside, so you might find people even standing, like just not nice. I wouldn't advise you. And by the way, the Zan ferries are not paying me, and I'm just being honest right now. If they come to cross these words and they do anything, I don't really care, but that's just the truth. You better be aware of that. And yeah, so surely on the other side, we did have to use what we call bajajis and minibuses and bodas. The accumulation of all that money we kind of used, it was only $12. Now these amount are only for one person, though we are two, so I already subdivided them into one person. So this budget I'm telling you is just one person, and this budget was actually made because we were two together, so some of the costs we were actually divided by two. Like it really got to an advantage, because on the bus side and on the border, because we would like share and stuff, so it was really kind of great, because if you share, that means the price is divided into two, so that's a good thing. Now if you take the expensivity on the bus and the bodas and the bajajis, we actually had a bad turn on the second day, whereby we were from the Shambaland, which is quite far away from the main place that we were going for. Then is coming back, so and it was really dark, so we had to get like an extra effort on paying so as we could get a seat for just coming on that Noah. It's like a minibus, so it was kind of hard to get into that minibus, and that you should be aware of. Like, it is kind of hard to go to the minibus from Shambaland. If you know Shambaland, be sure to check on the channel on the video, like it explains a lot. But I'm trying to say is it's $12, so that's inclusive of all the minibuses and the bajajis and all the expensivity. So it was actually $12, which is equivalent to 30,000 Tanzanian shillings. Yeah, to Tanzania it's gonna be expensive, but if you actually are calculating into US dollars, it's not that expensive. Now on the accommodation also, it was for the whole 4 days, it was equivalent to $44, which is equivalent to 120 Tanzanian shillings. These are currencies that I divided them by the moment I'm making this video, so probably you might have a different, like a little bit of a higher price compared to the right now, depending on when you're seeing this video. But the time I was making this video, the time I was doing my transportation and all the accommodation, all the stuff, that is what I actually paid. That was 120, and actually it was 240 because remember it was the 4 day nights, and the 4 day nights, and at that time, remembering we were two, so that's why you had to divide by 2, that is 120. That's why it was very cheap, $44 US for the for these 4 days, 4 nights, comparing if it was actually a person who is actually on his own, traveling on his own, a solo traveler. They would pay for $88 US, which is way too much. You would have just used that other 44 for something else. So that's a good advantage of traveling with a partner, like traveling with someone. You're gonna have to share prices, which is kind of affordable compared if you're gonna travel on your own. And also if you're actually not traveling in a big group, because there's also kind of complication, because you have to delay and wait for each other, so you end up canceling some plans and all the stuff. Because yeah, it's another story that I will tell about in another video, because it wasn't supposed to be only 2 of us, it's supposed to be like 4 of us and all the stuff. So yeah, that was another advantage. Anyway, so that's for the accommodation. It was 120,000 Tanzanian shillings for $44 US equivalent. And on extras, because you can't just expend everything, you need to have something extra on your pocket. So it was inclusive of the agent and the boat service we had to pay, because there was a time we had to use an agent, because on the 4th day going to Nakupenda Island, we tried to get to contact to the people who were actually owning the boats, but they would speak Swahili. Yes, we would contact them and we would speak, because we're all natural locals. So we ended up getting one who actually had a friend who had the boat, so it wasn't the owner exactly, but at least we got someone who's much closer, because those other ones, they were actually agents, so they would hit you with a higher price compared to the number, especially when I actually was speaking English and making my videos, so they thought that I was a foreigner. So that's something that you should be aware. And I actually made that video and I spoke something about it, so if you want to see anything raw, just be sure to check that video. It has everything. Right now I'm just summarizing everything. So the extras, you had $33 US now, which is equivalent to 90,000 Tanzanian shillings. Yeah, 90,000 Tanzanian shillings, which is quite expensive somehow. But comparing it to Tanzania, like for example, if you're actually moving from Kibhole Island, from the Tanzania mainland, you're probably going to pay around 40,000, if not 20,000, depending on the number of people. Because if you guys are so many of you, like 6 and above or 5 and above, you'll even pay 10,000. But if you're actually 2 or 3, it's kind of high, that goes to 20,000, 15,000, depends. So apart from that, we're coming to the side of food. Yeah, that's the main side that I actually like to talk about, for sincerely honest. Like, there's no any trip that I would like to go to without knowing how much I'm gonna spend my money on food. Though I'm kinda introvert, so I don't really spend so much time on the outside nowadays because of this or issues of internship. So yeah, so currently I was speaking of this food local. Then the local food, if you wanna spend in a local way of spending, you would spend almost 74,000 Tanzanian shillings. But if you're actually going to spend in a luxurious way, it's gonna be different. So if you're usually planning the whole trip, you're gonna spend only on local foods, it's gonna be as cheap as $27.5 US for the whole 4 days trip. I promise you that. And even can get more cheaper to until $20 US. It just matters how much you're gonna buy things, and like specifically on the food, and how willingly are you willing to starve, of course. But if you don't wanna starve, I think you have to pull the price until to somewhere $27.5 US for those local foods. But if you wanna try new foods, try this, try that, like exploring of the food, trust me, you should at least combine yourself with 150,000 Tanzanian shillings, which is equivalent to $55 US. Yeah, so that's kind of high, $55 US just for the food in 4 days. But if you really want to explore foods, and sincerely honest, sometimes things gonna get high and some things gonna get low, so it depends with the time that you're going. Now we personally did a mix, so we ended up rounding up on in between somewhere there around $30 US. So yeah, we didn't want to go specific on one thing, because we wanted to enjoy on the both side. Now the other side we also have some entrances, because remember on the 4th day, as I told you, we did have to go to Chamberlain, so we had to pay some of the entrance for swimming, and also on the tortoise we had to pay for the entrance. I think those are kind of major entrances that we did pay for. And the tortoise place we paid 25,000 Tanzanian shillings, which is equivalent to $9 US. That was actually per person. And also on the places that you might visit, on extras you might have to like what do I mean by that? I mean like trying to buy stuffs. You may end up buying stuff, so if you end up buying stuffs like that, then you will have to remember that there's some prices that are actually gonna be kind of high. Now if you count check the total summation of all the money that we actually used on the whole Zanzibar trip, each of us actually ended up using our 600 Tanzanian shillings, which is equivalent to $225 US. Now if you would take this budget and think of a way of enjoying yourself in Zanzibar, for using a guider who's gonna guide you in everything, the whole process, so this and that, you're gonna end up using probably like $500 US. I don't know, depends on the kind of agent that you're using, but I'm 100% assuring you that if you actually want to use less more money than 600 Tanzanian shillings, 600,000 Tanzanian shillings, it's really possible. This is just the approximation of what we actually did, and if in case I did forget, I don't know, like I did try to write everything down, but this is almost like from this amount of money and below and above, like 50 minus 50 plus, it's there around there, but this is the exact amount of money that we actually even spent on. Now if you're interested to have any question about the trip to Zanzibar, any inquiries that you have, I'm sure I will advise you not to use the agents unless otherwise you have family, like you're traveling at the whole family. Now even though you're traveling at the whole family, sometimes you just have to do the bustle and hustle on yourself. So yeah, that's all we have for today, and if you have any question, just let me know. I will be able to answer you down in the comment section or on private. Thank you and welcome to this community. Until then, see you next time and bye bye.